Hello, and welcome to the -4 Fantasy Podcast, hosted by me, Patrick. And joining me today is Aidan,
Well, what's the crack?
Darren,
Hello.
and Killian. How are we, lads?
We're depressed by the sound of it, but yeah.
Well,
We're all right,
maybe with good reason. Let's just get straight into it, lads. Let's start talking about our fantasy teams. This is what you're here for. Aidan, we'll let you gloat at first. Tell us how you got on.
Should we all rise before he starts, or?
Hey, shut up, Brett. I'm allowed to be happy. No, I had a nice week. 94 points.
Oof.
Yeah, kind of was aiming towards this double, obviously, with City and Arsenal, Dublin, and that we wanted to stock up on their players as much as we could. But no, taking you through the team, Kepa conceded against West Ham, so we got a 2-pointer. And yeah, we had Trippier then obviously conceded against Bournemouth, but both kind of games, the Chelsea game and the Newcastle game, were both, goals coming from kind of against the run of play. But I had Luke Shaw then for 12, Nathan Ake for 3. Only started one of the two games, but that's Pep for you. And then Bukayo Saka with a lovely 15-pointer, and then kind of the rest of my 7 attackers essentially all chipping in for points. Saka at 15, Rashford with 8, Salah with 11, Martinelli with 5, Almiron with 10, Haaland captain for 20 points, and Nketiah for 6. So I was kind of happy it kind of went my way in the end up. I've been kind of sitting around 50, 60k for the last couple of weeks, so down to 24k now, and on top of a couple of leagues, so kind of happy enough now, but I feel like I'm going to start slipping down the ranks now in the weeks coming.
Well, let's not be too pessimistic. I think you've done pretty well. I think your patience has been rewarded for sticking with the likes of Salah and Almiron, who most people have rage transferred out in the past few weeks. But yeah, I had Almiron as well, but I left him on the bench. I think you're in the minority of Almiron owners who actually played him this week, so fair play to you for that.
He's down to like 15% ownership now, I think, so it's mad.
Yeah, and you've got Salah there, nice for the double game week. I think a lot of us will be going there, so a lot of I wouldn't be too pessimistic if I were you about your chances.
Yeah, I think actually the players like Salah and Almiron, they probably fires across the rest of the team with players blanking and all that stuff. So you could say patience, but you could also say pure luck as well. So
that's what the game is. Half of it is pure luck.
It.
Pure fluke.
Speaking of which, let's go to Killian.
Wow, transition.
God, who's seen that come? Yeah, I was happy enough this week, actually. 86 points. I actually meant to have Almiron on for share, but I obviously didn't confirm it properly. And I would have been up there with Aidan on the under 94 squad. But yeah, I'm happy out. Of course, the points are only really been lost from, unfortunately, Chelsea conceding and then Newcastle conceding. But everybody else, all right. We will get on to blank 2, but sure, we still love him. But yeah, not a bad wee week. I didn't want to play Mudryk this week because he hasn't been playing full matches yet either. He actually got the 2 points this week, but he still came off, I think it was 65 minutes in or something. So I'm unsure about him being on the team anymore because, well, at least until he starts kind of coming out of his shell a wee bit more in the team.
Yeah.
But so maybe put him on the back end for the moment. But yeah, no, I'm happy enough for the week all in all. 86 points.
Nice one
Happy
having Mahrez in there.
Did you take some? Did you do some trans? Did you take?
Yes, so I
transfers,
took -8 this week, and I'm happy I did because I got 14 points out of those -8.
That's brilliant.
So I needed to be done. The players I had in weren't. I didn't expect them to do much this week, and they didn't. I think 2 of them blanked. So yeah, look, I'm almost set now for the big one on 25. just one more person to move about, and then that's me sorted. But yeah,
Like a
I'm happy
master plotting his comeback, Killian has really grown into this game, hasn't he, lads, over the season?
He's creeping up
big
on
time,
Ute as well in our league.
Hmm.
So I'd watch your arse if I was you, like.
I know. It's just not happening
I'm
for me
loving,
this season, is it?
I'm loving the Mahrez edition there, Killian.
Do you know what?
Really liking
Yeah.
that.
He did
call.
well. I think a few of us took him in, I believe, but he did. I was happy enough with it. I don't know what points De Bruyne came out with. I know he scored, but I don't know
15, I
what points
think.
he
Yeah,
came
he
out
did
with 15. So
better.
not that big of a deficit. Like I said, Mahrez was the only one who didn't make up the points for the transfers, but the other two did. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm happy out.
Good
That's
stuff,
all you can
Killian.
ask for when you take a minus like that, and you end up just benefiting from it, even if you take a -8 or a -12. That's what it's all about. Like,
Indeed. Anyway, Darren, let's talk through your team. Not as good as the other lads, but what do you think?
Yeah, completely raging. I said before we started the stream, like Luke Shaw on the bench just really killed me. I
dear.
mean, if he was in, like, he would have been up, 80 plus. Like, sorry, I'm not very good at maths. And yeah, but look, on the other hand, I took Grealish in, and I was happy with that. How that played out. He got me 13 points, so didn't have enough money for Mahrez, so went with the Grealish option and paid off. And then, look, De Bruyne done well and Haaland, but a lot of people have them as well. Yeah, could have done a wee bit better. Like all the other people kind of blanked. Well, I mean, Kepa and Cucurella
Yeah.
and White and a few other players, but yeah, no, happy enough. But probably could have pushed up a little bit higher if I had started Shaw.
It's a game of small margins, isn't it? You're welcome for that suggestion, by the way, of getting Grealish in. That was one of my suggestions on last week's podcast.
And that's why you should tune in to the -4 pod.
For great suggestions for other teams, but not so much my own, unfortunately. Well,
shameless
you can see
plug.
my team up here now. It's 77, so a bit above the average, but still a red arrow for me. Just not happening for me this year. A few of the guys I had in blanked. Really disappointed with Kane blanking this week against Leicester. I really would have thought he would have done well because he had such a great scoring form and also a history of scoring against Leicester. So disappointed with that. I had De Bruyne for 15 points. Didn't look like it was a good chance. Well, it was a good pick after the first game when he got nothing, but he really pulled it out in that Arsenal game. And yeah, just a few. Like having Ederson in this past few weeks has been terrible. I mean, he started every match, but City have not kept any clean sheets. Pep's been playing Bernardo Silva at left back,
Yeah,
does he
they're winning games, but they're conceding, and
Yeah.
they normally wouldn't have been like that,
How does he expect to win or to keep clean sheets when he's playing his centre midfielders and then left back? I don't know.
Do you know what's quite cruel as well, Pat? And it's so typical of fantasy football. Like the choice for you post wildcard was Everton or Ederson versus Kepa, and the bet. Like if I had the money, I probably would have went Ederson because he's the only defender in that team that will actually start every game. But then obviously Kepa goes and he blanks, but then he pulls a 10-11 pointer in. And then even like you have Odegaard in there, but like Odegaard versus Saka, like the swing this week has been crazy. So like you're making the right decisions and you are going along the right path. In another, reality or another 50-50 decision, you'd be looking at mid-90s as well. Like so, it's
Definitely.
Before we get those swings and roundabouts of FPL, man.
Absolutely. Before we get off on a complete tangent talking about alternate universes and stuff, maybe we should move on to the next topic. So we're going to discuss some of the headlines that we've stolen from the internet and we think are worth talking about. So let's talk about João Felix, lads. Here's some stats that we've taken from Fantasy Football Scout. What do you think he's going to contribute over the next few weeks? Chelsea don't have a blank in 25 or 28 as far as I know, but they don't double. So it's an interesting possibility getting Felix in. What are you thinking about this, lads?
Yeah, I mean, they have Southampton, I think, now, isn't it? Next. And, like, I actually watched a bit of the Chelsea game the last day, and he was picking up some very nice positions and putting himself into actual, like, good scoring position. So, like, I mean, yeah, I don't know what price he comes in at. Aidan, do you know? Or Killian?
7.5.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have the budget for him. I'd have to take out the likes of Kane to fit him in some way. So, I mean, I personally probably won't be looking at him, but yeah.
I think if anyone has Ivan Toney, if anyone's
Yeah.
listening to the podcast and they have the likes of Ivan Toney, Anthony Martial, those kind of players, those mid-budget players, Callum Wilson hasn't been getting as much game time. Isaac, those kind of lads. If you're ever looking to switch, like Felix is a prime candidate. Calvert-Lewin's not really firing, even though Everton are doubling. He's been injured a lot, stuff like that. So I think he's one of the best mid-price striker options now. The pockets of space he was picking up against West Ham were brilliant. On another day, they would have been 3-0 up at halftime and cruising. So he's definitely a focal point. He completely changes the dynamic of the other of their attacks. Sorry, and then the defense just couldn't. The defense couldn't keep track of him. So really exciting to see him as well.
He'd be an interesting pick, definitely. Didn't you see him play in the Champions League there this week?
Actually, I haven't seen any of the Champions League matches this week.
I feel like the game was on. Who are they playing? Chelsea again?
They're playing Dortmund.
Dortmund,
yeah. I actually seen bits of it, but I didn't see enough of it to see like how he played in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, judging from the game the last day in the Premier League, I think Chelsea are actually already molding into something that looks really, really interesting. Like, So I mean, yeah, as Aidan said, if you do have someone that you can, a mid-range striker that you can just do the switcheroo, it's definitely a good option, I'd say. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so another thing we wanted to bring up, two other players who are two midfielders this time who were in our thoughts. Marcus Rashford, obviously. He's in everyone's team now, but is he a good captain pick for the weekend? What do you think, lads?
Oh, I don't know. Like Like Leicester at home is a tricky one.
Yeah.
I'd nearly be more inclined to just go Haaland against Nottingham Forest, to be honest.
Or Mahrez even.
Oh, even better. Like it's just going to depend because obviously City play Champions League next week, so then you're down that minefield of expected minutes and how long they're going to do. But in terms of like Rashford scored again tonight against Barcelona, like I think he's undroppable.
Goal and
He's
assist.
a young lad. He's a young lad and he's fit. Like I think he starts. So he'd be in my top 3, I'd imagine. But
I'm definitely considering it.
You're going to captain Rashford, Patrick, is it?
Yeah, I need something to like spark my season into life, so why not go for Rashford against
the stuff.
Yeah.
The thing I struggle with in particular this game week is like I do think Rashford will do something against Leicester, as in he might get a goal, but just the possibility of Haaland scoring 3, if not 4 against Forest is just it's too risky not to maybe throw the captain on him. I don't know. What do you think, Killian?
Nah, I think if I was going to do anything, I'd have both of them at the same time. I wouldn't take Rashford out for Maddison now, because he's just, I don't know, he's just been playing.
Oh no,
disgustingly well.
I don't think anyone would do that. I think.
No,
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
But captaining him, nah, I don't think I would captain him for the match though. No,
you'd go for Haaland.
No, I would go Mahrez. I'd go Mahrez to be honest. I don't know. I just feel like Mahrez would turn out a wee bit more than Rashford would against Leicester. Leicester, as Aidan said, they're at home. They might. Sure, it might be that a tight arse game. There might not be much going in it. You see, and all right, Rashford has a good chance of either getting an assist or a goal in any game he plays nowadays. But I still think there's more opportunity for Mahrez against Forest to kind of come out with extra.
Yeah.
But what about Maddison though? Like I think, Gribben, would you be considering taking in Maddison?
Absolutely. On the graphic there, you can see the comparison between the two. Maddison is a great pick, but unfortunately, we're just kind of being swayed at the minute by teams with doubles. Is the main reason I think none of us have gone for him.
Yeah.
He's so good. Like, it's just hard to fit him into a team at the minute. When you're trying to navigate all these doubles and stuff, you're nearly trying to overcompensate towards the double game week players. Like,
Yeah.
To be fair as well, like they're playing United, then Arsenal and Southampton, and if there's ever a player to step up in them games, United and Arsenal, it's like if anyone's going to do that for Leicester, James Maddison's going to be involved. But like as Aidan said, just the double game weeks is really directing everyone at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's actually mad too, because Maddison was putting out like great numbers before the World Cup and all that, but he was playing off. You have to remember he was playing right mid.
Yeah.
Essentially all of those games. He's now in his proper number 10 position. And like watching that Leicester and Spurs match the last day, it was just like a different animal. Leicester bought a new winger, Tete. Is it Tete? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he's been playing out on the right, which then gives Maddison just the freedom of the inside. Him and Barnes love to keep wide. Like, they'll give Maddison all the space in the world. And then obviously Iheanacho coming back to form and also being another great striker option at that mid-price range. Leicester are kind of looking like a different animal again. Sometimes that's all it takes is just
So
that final third to come alive. So definitely consider them, yeah.
2 good results for Leicester. So maybe their trajectory is now on an upward one. It might be a tough fixture for United and Arsenal. But at the same time, though, I'm really liking Rashford captain in this one because they have won them past few games, but they have conceded as well. Okay, lads, let's look at the game week 24 fixtures now. So some of the big ones, the early kickoff is Villa versus Arsenal. A lot of good fixtures for the top teams. Any of them jump out to you, lads?
Yeah, that Arsenal and Villa match is obviously the one watching. Tripled up on those Arsenal players now, so let's hope none of them get rotated, isn't it? But obviously their game being Wednesday evening and then having a quick Saturday morning or a Saturday afternoon turnaround, it's just going to be whether they play the same team or have a bit of a rotation risks. Same for every team, really. Same for City. Same for
Trossard starting
for Chelsea.
For Arsenal. I think he'll get a start in this one. Whether it's for Nketiah or Martinelli, I don't know. But I can see Odegaard and Saka starting. Ben White was benched there at the Man City game, so I imagine he'll come back in. Yeah. Especially after the other guy, Tomiyasu, scored. Basically got an assist for the Manchester City goal. So yeah. The one that really jumps out to me in particular is the Liverpool-Newcastle match. Now,
from a fantasy perspective, or just as in
from a fantasy perspective,
watch.
I'll tell you why. Because of the double Liverpool have in 25, isn't that right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to watch it to scout players for my team. So we'll have to see, if anyone impresses. I mean,
you only have to scout one player, Patrick, and his name's Mo Salah. That's it.
Salah.
He's definitely coming into the team, but I want to look at Nunez and see if he.
There's some other
see if he scores a hat trick.
Do not.
Can we ban his name from the -4 podcast?
Yeah. He could have scored like 5 goals last day, and he really should have done. So
I'm gonna start censoring his name like it's a swear word or something.
I'd rather Fellaini up top than Nunez, to be honest.
Fellaini would actually pass to someone who can score rather than just take the shot and blindly miss it. But
Fellaini would just like stoop down and head it in with his big afro.
Like in terms of match ratings, he's always like one of the best players on the team until he has to make a goal or goal-defining decision, whether he passes it or whether he shoots it, and he nearly always makes the wrong decision.
Yeah.
He had some misses the weekend, didn't he?
Again.
Oh, sure. You could have counted on 2 hands the amount of chances he either squandered or point blank missed. So, but he's just one of those players that when he does score, he's going to score 3 or 4 games in a row. He's one of those lads. He's such a form striker and a confidence player. But
but it's whether
so
you want to. It's whether you want to like chance having him sitting on your team for the 6 or 7 weeks it takes him to get to that point. And then by the
Like,
time you get there, you're just like, oh yeah, he scored this many goals, and you're just thinking, yeah, but you missed out on having this player in for 30 points in the last 3 weeks. Like it's.
but at what
Well, I mean,
cost, huh?
But
I think I think the main thing that people will be looking at in that fixture is like, I mean, Salah is the obvious choice, but I mean he's what, 12.5 million. Like it really comes down to, can you work around your team to bring him in?
Yeah.
Like for me, looking at them fixtures, I think looking at these fixtures, it's really important to as I say, look ahead. Aidan, I'll probably talk about that later. But like we're talking Everton, Wolves, Liverpool, and Arsenal have a double in 25. So if you can try and bring someone in here for these fixtures, like the Everton Leeds game, I don't know why I'm looking at that. I just find it might be an interesting one, but I don't know.
Yeah, let's bring up the fixtures actually. So we've got this table of sort of fixtures that we've done. We've stolen from the internet again, from Twitter. Aidan may be the best place to talk you through this. So if you want to take it away, Aidan, make some of your points.
Yeah, so like essentially what we're trying to do over the next couple of weeks, whether you want a wild card in, week 27, week 28 onwards, the important part is to get through the next 3 or 4 weeks essentially unscathed. So week 25, I'm going to take a punt and say that if you were to look at your team now and check how many players you actually have playing in game week 25, it'd probably be under the 11 players, or you probably wouldn't be able to make a team. So essentially what you want to do over the next couple of weeks is for game week 25, you're going to want to have Trippier and Rashford on your bench as, the players who aren't going to leave, because Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool, Wolves, all double, but also you have Brighton, Brentford, Newcastle, and Manchester United who blank. So everyone's going to be tripled up on Newcastle, going to be tripled up on United. You're going to have maybe a Matoma or a Ivan Toney in your team. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to slowly filter them out 2 weeks. You're going to want to get Matoma out. You're going to want to get Toney out. You're going to want to get the likes of Botman, Pope out of your team. And then maybe keep your core 3 bench players of Shaw, Trippier, and Rashford.
Janssen.
And then or Pontus Jackson, exactly. But it's just really important that you're able to field 11 players in game week 25, because not only is it a double, but it's also a blank. So if you can get one of those players that don't play and maybe fill them with a suitable player that has a double game week. So like this weekend, for example, I'm going to say Kilman from Wolves. He plays Bournemouth, but then he also has a double in 25 versus the likes of Sven Botman from Newcastle. He plays Liverpool this weekend and then blanks. So you're substituting a player with only 1 fixture for someone who has 3 in the next 10 days. So I think it's just really important to not just to plan for the weekend coming, just to make sure that you have adequate subs, and make sure, please make sure you have 11 players playing in game week 25. So this graphic is here. Feel free to screenshot it, or at Ben Krellin on Twitter. He's the god for all this sort of stuff. But
Nice.
Even taking 24 and 25 into the equation, you're going to have to get 11 players in 25, or you're going to start to slip down those rankings. So whatever your chip strategy is in the future, just ensure you have those transfers ready to go for game week 25, and that'll get you a step ahead in your head-to-heads or your mini leagues.
Great stuff, Aidan. Thanks for that. And this graphic actually goes into detail, a bit of speculation about some of the future possible game weeks and the fixtures that might be in there. Obviously, the ones that are confirmed in 27, there's another set of double game weeks. 2 of the teams actually who are blanking. That's Brentford and Brighton also have a double. So I think my plan might be to bench Matoma and just keep him in the team. Maybe use that 3rd bench slot for him. Hopefully, I have a Nathan Patterson and Bueno for Wolves and Everton. So I'm really hoping that those 2 actually get some game time in that double game week. I think the updates on Patterson is that he's actually fit again now and he's going to play an under 21 game.
Nice.
So good. Yeah.
It's possible that he might get some game time. He'll probably be limited, but I think you're better off, just having a guy who'll get maybe 1 point than having a blanker,
It's a funny one though, because remember I mentioned earlier, like Salah is is top of the wish list, but like I suppose it's something we don't really talk about enough is like the likes of bringing in an Everton or a Wolves defender. Let's say you're taking out Botman, for example. I mean, because we don't really maybe follow them as much, it's an interesting one to see who you would actually bring in, isn't it?
Yeah. There's actually, now, if you were a madman, there's actually maybe
Killian Perry.
I'm listening.
there's actually a possibility that you could get away with taking a Trippier out of your team and replacing him with a doubling defender. Now that's going to be...
God damn it, man! I'm mad. Not that mad.
That's going to be a tough thing to do. The thinking behind that one is that just based on the past few games where Newcastle have conceded in I think the past 2 games.
2 games, yeah.
So the clean sheets aren't there at the minute, and they've got obviously this blank come up in 25, and then they don't have a double in 27, like some teams, like who are the teams doubling? Crystal Palace, Southampton, Brighton, Brentford,
And Brentford,
yeah. So
yeah, it's a tough one to navigate,
to
but
know.
like I mean, it is hard to know, isn't it? Like I was looking at the likes of Coleman, Dawson, Tarkowski, and a few players like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a bit of a punt sometimes. Like Everton
is.
are doing better now with regards to the clean sheets. They're playing Leeds, and for some weird reason, Leeds have turned around and started playing good football again since Jesse March left. So it's hard to know.
it is, and sometimes we're like all the guys we've mentioned who are from Everton and Wolves, the doublers in 25, they're actually defenders. I don't think many of us are considering too many of their attacking options and midfielders. So maybe it's best to not chase the double game weeks, considering there's no real standout options from any of those teams, and to focus on maybe picking a player who is going to have a game, but maybe just a single. What do you think about that?
But Patrick, that's no fun.
It just depends. It just depends what your chip strategy is, essentially. So if you're going to wildcard week 28, then you only need this team for the next 4 weeks. So sometimes you might be better off chasing. But if you are someone that wants to wildcard after this large possible blank in 32, if you want to do a wildcard 33, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want players that are good over the next 8 weeks. So it just depends. So figure out essentially the players that you have on and the fixtures that you want to target. If your team's good enough to get to 32, then your transfers are going to want to be more methodical, and you're going to want to pick the good players, good fixtures.
Yeah.
Instead of picking your Wolves players that might have a double in 25, but then they'll be smashed into Spurs, Newcastle, possible blank game week, stuff like that. So just figure out what your team requires. If it's short term and you want a wild card in week 28 or afterwards, then you're just going to want short term upsides. You're going to chase your punts. You're going to chase your good fixtures. So figure out what it is your team needs and go from there.
This is a great graphic because it shows the blank there that's coming up in 28 as well. The red are the teams, they have possible blank game weeks there. That's going to be another problem we're going to have to navigate. We've only got one bench boost, so we could use it potentially there, where you could plan your team well, use your bench boost in a double game week. You can see there that 29, 30, and 31 look like doubles for some teams anyway. So it depends.
All very interesting.
Depends what way you want to play it. There's definitely going to be strategies emerging online, so keep an eye out for them. If you want to copy and paste your teams, I wouldn't recommend that, but it's an option. Anyway, speaking of transfers that we need to be making over the next few game weeks, I think we should talk about maybe our cheeky picks now. And we're going to bring in our transfer specialist here to talk about his recommended transfer. Everyone, this is Killy.
I'm gonna love to hear this.
Hello, everybody. So this week, I have decided to go with Seamus Coleman. Last week, went for Polinia, and if you took him in, haha, joke's on you, I didn't. Okay? So this week, Seamus Coleman. Okay, going into next week, they have good little lineup or matchup. Chance to possibly come away with a clean sheet. Who knows? It's be good points there. And then that leads into the double game week then on 25, where again, there is a chance to kind of get a few points. Now, again, he isn't the first defender you'd want to take out of one of the double game week teams, but at the same time, he's 4.4 mil as well. So it gives you that extra wee bit to maybe spend somewhere else if you're wanting to take in a Salah or something like that. And he's been playing well recently in the sense that he hasn't. So none of the goals that they've conceded have been because of him. So that surely that means that he's good and that the team is just bad, right?
As a defender, Cillian, I actually love that line. It's a best line I ever heard.
Thank you. Yes, I'm looking out for them. I'm looking out for him. All right. Man averages 2.6 points per match, which of course means that you get a return of 0.6 points. But still, there is that opportunity, and it shows that he doesn't just blank every single game week. Yeah, he also has the Irish buff, which we all know. All of the lads here in the call know that is a powerful force to be reckoned with when it wants to come out after a few pints. And then you have the fact that he is mad disciplined, right? This man hasn't got one card this season so far, and for a defender to not have at least one card is, I think, shows great discipline and shows that he has the head for it, and that I think that he could. You know what? He could be the one to take away these easy points now in the next 2 weeks, be it through assists, which he hasn't done yet, or a goal, which he hasn't done yet. But still, I think that, and actually, I am actually taking him in to my team this week. So if he blanks, I will be laughed at. But thank you very much. That is Killer's Corner this week.
Well done. Woo! That was pretty
well
interesting.
Done,
a very unbiased pick there from fellow Donegal man, Cillian. How about you, other lads? Any potential cheeky picks that have crossed your mind? Now, I want something cheeky, not a Salah, not a nice safe transfer. Anyone who's a bit under the radar.
I've taken in Neves this week.
Ooh. Wow.
after that whole speech about James Coleman, like.
I took in Coleman as well.
Seamus Neves.
I'll let him
You mean
let it go.
I have Neves Coleman in here now. But no, I took a Neves. Bournemouth this week, easy chance of getting a goal or assist, and then he has the double then next week. Which I think again, all right. They're playing Liverpool, and not sure in the second match. Excuse me, but yeah, I mean they played well against Liverpool.
They had Fulham in the first game.
Fulham, yes, so like double. I mean, and going by the way they played against Liverpool the last time too, 3-0, wasn't it? I think, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer.
It's a Cillian pick definitely because he's a centre defensive midfielder who sometimes slots back into centre half. So
listen, are there any other?
Patrick, he'll score a worldie now at the weekend. He has that in the locker.
He only
has
scores
goals
worldies
in his locker. He arrives late in the box as well, and then he's on all free kicks, all corners, and all penalties. So
yeah, he's a good shout. I think.
He's a safe choice, and he plays 90 minutes. So
absolutely, plus he's a lot cheaper than some of the other midfielders that you might want to be taking in for this double. And again, coupled up with Coleman, it's probably part of the reason why I still have 7 million sitting in my bank account. But yeah, like I think cheap or not, I think he still has a great chance of producing maybe even just a few, but at least more than a blank for the next 2 weeks.
Well, we shall see. He's definitely a good Almiron replacement, I think. So good one, Cillian. How about you, Darren? Any cheeky picks for us?
Oh, I'm going to be very boring this week, to be honest. There's literally any cheeky pick that I have. I feel like I can't bring them in because of like fixtures and stuff. It's just so tricky, you know. Cillian, you snoring? No, look, no cheeky picks. The only thing I'm thinking of is Botman out or De Bruyne out, and either Salah in or an Everton player in.
Do you have Mahrez in?
Very boring here. No, I don't, but I have Grealish in, but I'm really worried about his fixtures and like whether he's going to get minutes as well. So like, I don't know.
It's a tricky one. We can't.
I feel like Grealish is nailed for the league, and then maybe not for the Champions League thing.
Yeah, well, look, he paid off. he paid off last game week, and like if he,
welcome.
I'm definitely not going to take him out anyway. So like, no cheeky picks for me. Very boring. Move on to Aidan.
He's spooked on picking cheeky picks because he did mention Casemiro the time he got sent off, so he has kept quiet ever since that one.
Isn't he back this week now too?
I would go Garnacho as a cheeky pick because he comes off the bench and seems to do a lot. But like United's fixtures just well, they have a blank coming up, so
quite literally
Hard
don't
to
exist
avoid.
next week. So
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on to Aidan. Any cheeky picks?
My cheeky pick this week is Craig Dawson
Wow.
for Wolves. Craig Dawson, I just love him. I brought him into my team last year at and around game week 30. And in the time I had him, I think it was about 6 or 7 weeks he was in my team, he scored 3 goals from corners. And then he loves a header from a corner. He got maybe 3 or 4 clean sheets out of 8 games. And like goals coupled in with a lot of it. He loves bonus points and he loves scoring from set pieces. So Wolves in a bit of a resurgence, especially with him at the back. I just think with Neves swinging in like a perfect ball every time, Dawson is just always so close to scoring. So I think with Bournemouth at the weekend, they have that double then against Fulham and Liverpool, and I think they're probably one of the least likely teams to blank in game week 28. I think he's just a good cheap option. He doesn't mess up the structure of your team. You'll be able to afford him easily from a Sven Botman or a United defender or something like that blanks. So a nice easy transfer to fit in. That's budget friendly as well.
Nice
I have him on my list here. Then actually, he's 4.8 million, and then I have an X through him because I actually can't afford him if I take Botman out just with other bits. But what a shout! I think he scored on his debut,
Max
didn't
Kilman as well.
Yeah,
he scored on his debut, but Max Kilman as well. Obviously, Ait Nouri and Bueno are kind of rotating minutes as well. It's hard to really know, but
good shout,
in terms
nice
of budget,
pick.
one or the two of those, if they fit your budget, would be great. Yeah.
Very good.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm. If I were to go for a cheeky pick myself, I would have to say Iheanacho. I think he's
I love
been
that
playing
pick, man.
very good the past few weeks. Like absolutely fantastic. Like if it weren't for the tough fixtures, I think a lot more people would be talking about him. But Leicester are capable of scoring against the big teams. They hammered Spurs. Playing United now could be a turn up for the books. Hopefully not for your sake, Darren. But I think Iheanacho is a shout if you want someone cheaper. I'm very, very tempted to go for that Tete guy because I need someone around that price.
He's extremely good as well. Yeah, he might not score obviously every week, but his assist, his expected goal involvements in that is huge with Harvey Barnes as well. So it's great.
Yeah,
to
he
see
looks
them on the
lively. He looks
rise.
very lively. He
does. He
looks
looks
like a
so
good player.
If you wanted to just avoid the doubles, like the doublers, like I can't really see anyone from Wolves or Everton.
Yeah,
in the forward line.
Podence has been great recently, but you also have players like Pedro Neto hopefully coming back very soon, and that is just
Podence is flagged as well. I've seen
His minutes aren't that good though, Aidan, are they? I don't think he's.
Yeah.
I think
sometimes
Podence has been starting, but he's one of those players that he'll be the first man subbed off on an hour.
Yeah,
So
around the
there's so-
60-minute mark.
there's so many players that you'd love to get in, but they just don't play enough to warrant a hit or to warrant a couple of game weeks.
It's the same for Everton. I think we're all in that boat. Anyway, lads, thanks very much for your insights and your cheeky picks. We're all nearing the end of the podcast now, but all is left is for the trivia round. Everyone's favourite.
It sounds like he's about to read me a bedtime story.
I was just about to say, you sound like you're on the
It's definitely our most sleep-inducing topic of conversation.
ASMR.
So we'll quickly move on to it anyway. It's another guess the player round. Only this
Chicharito.
time, it's an
This is the same player you had a couple of weeks ago.
I know. What is this?
Pay no attention to the silhouette. That is just for visual purposes.
Is it Pikachu?
It is not Pikachu.
Nah,
But it is
There
a
he is.
former Arsenal player, and yous will have to identify who it is, and you have 10 questions to do it, and there's a time limit on this of 3 minutes.
okay.
I have the Wikipedia
Um,
up in front of me, so hopefully I don't get any questions wrong.
Yeah. So just before, or no, we can wait till the thing goes, but we'll try and narrow down a region or a continent first, and then
Well,
go from there.
A continent, yeah. Don't do what me and
should-
Darren did. We were
Yeah.
asking every question.
Is he French?
from this country? Is he French?
Oh my god!
Is he
Look,
English? Is he French?
I was listening to your question, just punching the wall on the way home.
Is it a man?
Yeah, we did.
lads. Okay,
Okay, we'll start.
let's start.
Okay.
Yeah, then you can go first. Then
Okay, is this person European?
Yes.
Okay.
Did
So we
he?
just narrow, hey, fuck it. We need to narrow down where they're from first.
Okay.
is this player
Right.
from the Netherlands?
No. Killian, your turn.
Did he play between the years of 2000 and 2010?
No,
Oh.
Right, so that's our third question, is it?
that's 3.
Okay, do you want to go 2010 onwards, Aidan, do you think, or maybe before
Yeah,
that?
try that.
Yeah, well, did he play?
Go on.
Go on.
Now you go.
Did he play after 2000?
And
Oh,
10.
2010.
Yes.
So bad at this.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
right.
so-
He's European. Then he played with Arsenal from 2010 onwards.
Okay.
Whose question is it? Killian, is it, or do we want to discuss?
Aidan's question.
Western or Eastern European?
You want to try and narrow down a position, maybe?
How many? Yeah. Was this player an attacking player?
Yes.
I think I know who it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
shut
yeah.
up now. Come on. How many
Oh,
questions
Siobhan.
through are we? 5.
5.
5, yeah.
Um,
Do we want to narrow it down? Whether
Okay,
he's
I'm
winger or
going to
striker?
tell
He's
you.
only a
I
minute and a
think
half
it's
left.
we need to get a nationality.
yeah. I think it's a certain German player.
Killian, you don't know that.
I know. I didn't ask a question. I'm just saying to use.
Oh Lord above. Is this player right-footed?
You say it, Dan.
I don't think he. I think not. No.
Sorry, that's
That doesn't
means he's
count.
That means he's left-footed, which narrows everything down.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know any left-footed Arsenal
So
players.
David-
we're
Damon
talking-
McHugh.
So we're talking Ozil. We're talking Ozil, Wilshere.
Yeah, that's who I thought it was.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, go German then. Will
Is
we
he
go
German?
that?
Is he German?
Is he German?
Yes.
I got it right. Yeah.
Jesus, he actually did get it.
Is this
person
Mesut
Mesut
Ozil?
Yes, he is.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
let's go.
Let's
On the
go.
boys.
Oh, he actually looks like the silhouette a wee bit.
Not really. It's Bruno Fernandes, but sure. Look,
I know.
let's
that
pretend
was
it
the
was.
years.
Just in the
Killian
time
got
limit as
one.
well, lads.
Whatever.
Well done. Just about got it
Got
air time.
just about.
I do take my criticism back, Ed, and that was actually a very good question. Me and Killian are
That's
terrible at this.
alright.
I was
What
waiting.
do you mean?
I was waiting for Killian to go. Is it Per Mertesacker at the last minute?
No.
Out of nowhere?
No.
But,
as soon as you said that it was kind of Arsenal after 2010, and then when I heard he was a forward, just Ozil went straight in.
Fair enough. Fair
could
play.
have been. Could have
That was
been Gnabry actually. Now that I think about it, he played. He was a German who played in around that time.
good. Lucas Podolski would have fit
Podolski,
in that gap
yeah.
as well.
There's lots of players
what
who
a
could have been,
player.
but
What a
he's
player.
picked right.
We
Well
got
done.
it.
That brings an
Fair
end
play.
to our
That
show,
was good.
lads. Well done. So some insights there about the upcoming game weeks, bit of crack, some questionable picks as always. Hope you enjoyed. Definitely give us a like and a follow, and we appreciate your listening. So, anything to say before we head on, lads?
Yeah, just make sure you have enough. Make sure you have 11 players starting game week 25. Make your subs. Don't look at 24 alone when you're making your transfers. Look at the bigger picture and figure out what strategy you're going to take. But make sure you start getting players in that can play in 25.
Actually, one last thing. Who are we all captaining? Patrick?
Mahrez.
Erling Haaland for me, anyways.
I'm Haaland too, I think, so far.
Yeah, I want to go for Rashford, but I might chicken out and go for Haaland. I reckon I'm pretty set on Rashford at the minute, though. We'll see how we get on.
Fair enough.
I'm going Mahrez.
There we go.
Brilliant. Thanks a million, lads. That was great.
Cheers.
All the best.
Bye.